Hi Sagittarius! Welcome to my channel, Starchaeology Tarot. I am Desi. I am so excited to see you. Did you guys know I love you? Because I do. Even if we haven't met, I feel very connected to you. I'm very grateful that you're here. I feel you. I feel your energy through this, through my phone. I want to take a moment and call in your guides, your ascended masters, angels, and archangels to assist me in this May tarot reading. I am calling in messages today that will I want messages that are going to enlighten you, encourage you, and empower you, so that we can shift your mindset and heart set to a temperature, okay, I'll allow it, a temperature that is perfect for manifesting your best of all possible potentials, because your mindset and your heart set play a huge role in that. Don't let any reader tell you any differently. You are very powerful, Sagittarius, and so much of this kind of introspective work really depends on how you are interpreting things, how you choose how you craft a story about your present moment, about your past, about your future, and whether it's a story that supports the best version of yourself, whether it's a story that is kind and generous and forgiving to yourself and allows you space to grow and change and be a better person and live a better life and experience a better life. This is good for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What resonates, Sag, is what is meant for you. What doesn't is meant for someone else in this beautiful collective. What are the messages for Sagittarius for the month of May? Sagittarius, month of May. Queen of Discs. What? 10 of Cups, Sag? Whoa, that's wrong. Strength. Sagittarius. And then I said I was going to honor it. The devil flew out while I was giving you a little speech. So, Sag, you have an opportunity this month to really step up in how you nurture and protect yourself, how you meet your emotional and physical needs, and how you really make yourself just comfortable, like how you create an environment around yourself that is calm and gentle and allows for sustainable, like it's a sustainable situation. It's like I feel safe in here, I can grow in here, even if it looks fill in the blank to anyone on the outside. It doesn't really matter. It's you being so focused and grounded and confident in what you have built for yourself. You're so centered, you're making and you're taking such good care of yourself that you really can't be shaken. It's like you're so grounded in this way. This really is the domain of self-love and care. And that's just so beautiful. I see it being a challenge this month because we have the devil here, and there is maybe like a temptation to slip into old habits or old patterns or addictions to you name it, whether it's a literal addiction or it's an addiction to maybe ways of thinking or speaking with yourself that deprive you of what you need, or are the very opposite of what self-love and care is. I see you having opportunities this month to engage with that voice, and maybe engage with it in a way that you haven't engaged with it in the past, meaning maybe a way that you engage with it that is more nurturing and protective to yourself. How do you protect yourself against that voice, even when the voice is coming from you, or you think it's you? It's your brain. Let's call it that. Sometimes the greatest protection that you need is protection from yourself in that way. And so many of us are quick to protect those that we love because we can clearly see devil energy around us. We can clearly see when someone is speaking untruths, when something is coming from a place of fear rather than love. You know, in the situation of a loved one outside of ourselves, we are too enmeshed when that voice is coming from within our own heads to recognize that it's not us. And it becomes really difficult to defend ourselves appropriately against that voice, to protect ourselves appropriately, the way that we are so quick to offer protection to others. So I really do see an opportunity for you this month, and it's going to take great strength for you. It's not a show of strength to anyone else. It's an internal, quiet strength, a strength that's like, I am inviting my demons to face me. I'm not running from them. I'm not trying to cage them. It's more like I am facing them head on and realizing that what I thought was maybe a monster is actually, it's a wild animal. And it doesn't have to be a monster. It doesn't have to be a monster in the sense of how we look at the devil, for example, like, you know, a literal demon. Like, it's like, no, it's a lion. It's a lion that maybe learned some instincts, survival instincts that aren't necessarily kind or helpful to us, but it was the best that lion could do with what it had. It's instinctual. It came from an instinctual need to survive. Strength is so beautiful because we see ourselves making friends with what we considered a monster, taming what we considered a monster. And I don't mean taming in the sense, again, of caging, putting in captivity, but taming in the sense of the Little Prince definition of taming, which I don't know if any of you have read that book, but it's just the most beautiful example, or the most beautiful definition of taming, when the Little Prince meets the fox, and the fox says, like, will you tame me? And the Little Prince doesn't know what that means, and I think I'm gonna butcher this, but I think it's something like, when we tame each other, we'll belong to each other. Taming is creating a relationship. a relationship of love. And to think that we can do that with even our shadow selves, with even the darkest parts of who we are, is so beautiful and liberating, because it can turn that whole relationship on its head. It can turn it from one that's a constant conflict, like I have to battle you to silence you, or I need to cage you up, or like push you under the rug, or ignore you, pretend you're not there, give you silent treatment, like all these relationships that in a real life relationship we'd be like, that's toxic, that's unhealthy. Like, how do we approach our relationships with our shadow selves, like in a healthy way? And it's the same way that we have a healthy relationship with another human being. What if we treated our shadow selves, the parts of ourselves that we are scared of, or ashamed of, or fearful of, what if we treated those shadow selves with love? We treated them with a healthier perspective, from a healthier approach. Then maybe we can tame them. Then maybe we can build a relationship with them that is actually rooted in love, instead of resistance, non-acceptance, or hatred, or judgment. It's a big one. This is interesting, Sag. We have the Ten of Cups as well, right in the middle here. The way I'm interpreting this, not how I've interpreted other spreads this month. This is just what is intuitively coming to me. I see that all of these pieces are kind of circling around the Ten of Cups, which is really the like nucleus of your month. Like, you have this opportunity for that happily ever feeling that we see in the Ten of Cups, like the emotional fulfillment in the simplest things, in the beauty of a rainbow, having a roof over our heads, having a family, simple pleasures that just, the joy and the fulfillment is so much greater than the sum of their parts. How it looks on paper, it's like, this is so beyond anything that I could have imagined. And there's such gratitude in that Ten of Cups too, like really being grateful, acknowledging that gratitude for what you have, acknowledging what you have, the blessings that you have, is oftentimes the key to actually making those blessings feel bigger than the sum of their parts. Sometimes we don't have access, or we're numb to feeling them in that way when we don't feel grateful for them. This is also about you adjusting to, I think some of you feel, I'm seeing here, that some of you see self-love, self-care, your basic needs being met, your emotional, physical needs being met, self-nurturing and protection as being so different from your default that it's like, wow, that feels like a superhuman feat. Like, if I can have one day like that every few weeks, that would be incredible. But you deserve that every day, Sagittarius. You deserve that to be your default. And that is also very Ten of Cups energy. It's like having your basic needs met, like being taken care of by yourself is the most basic right that you have. Like, that is a right of yours. You have the right to feel that every day, to feel loved by yourself every day, cared for by yourself every day, to have your physical and emotional needs met every day, to feel safe in the world around yourself that you've created. That doesn't have to be something that happens every so often. That can be the norm. And this is about moving to a place where instead of the norm or the pattern being one of imprisonment, you know, one that's like, this again, like I'm, the devil is so much about being chained to something, like a behavior that we don't want to be chained to, but it's like, I've been doing this for so long, it owns me now. This is how I operate, or a way of thinking. It's like, this is how I operate. I can't change this. And it's a prison, you know? The same way that can be your default. This is a shift from that being your default to self-love being your default, care being your default. And that's front and center for you this month. All of these moving parts around it all play a role in you creating this default, this baseline for you that is very, very possible. The biggest thing, I think, is recognizing that it is possible for you, that it's not something that's like, that you're in constant conflict with. Because I think telling yourself that isn't possible for me is non-acceptance of it. It's resistance to it. So if you're able to, at the very least, acknowledge that can happen, even if I'm not there yet, it can happen. Then at least you're taking a step in the right direction of moving to a place of openness rather than resisting the thing that you want just because you believe you can't have it. I hope that's clear, Sag. I would love to hear how this looks specifically for you in your life, so feel free to comment below, open up your heart and mind to me. It's an honor to bear witness to those parts of you. If you haven't liked this reading, please like it. If you did like it, give it a like. Check out your other placements, give those some likes as well. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, turn on those notifications. I want to be making more content for you as often as possible, and I'm trying to gather the bandwidth to do that and the resources to do that, and that only happens with more support. So if you can offer that support in any way, I would be eternally grateful. Shout out to my patrons on my Patreon. If that's something that you're interested in doing, supporting me for a few dollars a month, getting access to a bunch of different bonuses and goodies, check out the link below to my Patreon. I would be so grateful to see you on there, to see you join that community. I love you very much, Sag. I'm rooting for you as always. I hope this May is as beautiful as the potential I see for it. I hope you live out that best potential, because you really can. This is a shift that it just happens inside of you, and you're in charge of everything that happens inside of you. On that note, thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.